Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We're broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and in that studio, it's time already to talk about Stika. Good morning.
Good
morning.
Where's the summer gone?
I know, right?
Well, you probably say that because you've been planning this the whole time. But tell us, for people that aren't familiar, what is Well, good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Just got a wave as we kicked off the broadcast. How about that? We've got a lot to cover this morning. We're going to be talking about some New York State issues, a lot about the Democrat Socialist of America. As these primary results have come in, there's a lot of talk, even a op-ed by none other than former Governor Andrew Cuomo. We may get to all of that. In the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to talk to our friends from STICA. India Day is coming up tomorrow. It's a busy day for events. We're going to try to remind you before the show's over so you have your calendar full for tomorrow. All right, let's get right to it. As an update from throughout the week, after fans were quick to slam the Buffalo Bills franchise for blocked views and sight lines during a training camp practice inside the new $2.2 billion Highmark Stadium, the project's architect told Buffalo News that was not a design flaw nor an oversight. The stadium was built by architectural design firm Populous, which sought out, alongside the Bills, to build a more vertical stadium with stacked tiers and a seating bowl to enable fans to be as close to the action as possible. It also says to make for a louder atmosphere. With that came sightline sacrifices, including staircases in front of the seats in the 300 and 400 levels. Jonathan Malley, Global Director and Managing Director of Populous America's practice, said you will find some level of obstruction in every stadium in the world. The goal was to bring everybody closer to the field and create an upper deck with an incredible proximity and presence within the bowl to help create a next-level experience for Bills Mafia. The Bills eventually spoke out to their fans, saying they were addressing internal and external feedback and would refine any details ahead of the home opener on Thursday, September 17th. The team only heard from less than 1% of season ticket holders about sightlines. Anything else for sale that has a sightline-related issue we thought was clearly indicated, though through the virtual experience, it was very reflective of where people ended up. However, if anyone felt differently, we're having those conversations, and we want to make certain at the end of the day that they're satisfied with their seats. The Bills totaled more than $260 million in personal seat license sales, with price tags ranging from $750 to $2,500. All right, there's your update. Oh, big news coming out yesterday, and I know we have a big Second Amendment supporting crowd here on Frankly Speaking. As a matter of fact, since we mentioned it, Scope, our good friends at Scope, and this time Chemung, is holding their meeting on, where is it here? August 26th, coming right up. It's at Pine City Sportsman's Club, 187 Mountain View Drive in Pine City, and it's going to be with guest speaker, our friend, no pun intended, New York State Assembly member Chris Friend. That meeting starts at 6:30. But, as I said, we have a big gun rights advocate viewership. Well, gun rights advocates are wasting little time putting a huge federal court victory into action after a judge struck down decades-old firearms restrictions as unconstitutional. Gun Owners of America and Silent Shop, a federal firearms licensee covered by the ruling, linked to the sale and transfer of silencers, notified the Trump administration Thursday that they plan to begin transferring gun silencers without going through the National Firearms Act registration and approval process that has governed such transactions for decades. Just after midnight yesterday, 2 gun owners walked out of a Texas firearms dealer with silencers without first completing the federal registration and approval process that has governed such transfers for generations. That's according to Gun Owners of America. Aiden Johnson, Gun Owners of America's Director of Federal Affairs, said this is the first time in 92 years that any gun owner has been able to do this. This would have been punishable for up to 10 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine per violation. So this was a big federal law. We took a really big bite out of it. Representative Andrew Clyde, a Republican from Georgia who attended the midnight transfer, called it literally the greatest Second Amendment win in the history of our country, adding that it marked a monumental day for the country and a monumental day for the Second Amendment. The ruling also appears poised to stand without a challenge from the federal government. They said Wednesday he had received information that the Trump administration that the Justice Department would not appeal the decision. Senior Vice President of Gun Owners of America, Eric Pratt, said GOA fought to crush the NFA's unconstitutional restrictions through the One Big Beautiful Bill. But we didn't stop there. We promised to keep fighting until these restrictions were gone, and now our members are putting this historic victory into action. The era of federal registration for constitutionally protected arms must end. Now, of course, that has caused the Brady campaign to respond. The Brady campaign to prevent gun violence, formerly Handgun Control Incorporated, went into full meltdown mode Thursday morning following the first transfer of a suppressor without registration. On August 5th, it was reported that U.S. District Judge James Wesley Hendricks ruled against National Firearms Act registration requirement in Jensen v. ATF. This opened the door for plaintiffs in the case, including those in a consolidated case, to transfer suppressors and short-barrel rifles and shotguns without complying with NFA registration requirements. Judge Hendricks, which I believe, in full disclosure, I believe I interviewed him years ago. I want to say, unless it's a different James Hendricks, was a surrogate for Ted Cruz. But he allowed the government to have a 7-day window in which to appeal his ruling before allowing it to take place. This meant that barring appeal, it would take effect August 13th, 2026. The Gabby Gifford's gun control group was apoplectic over this decision, all releasing statements. We're not going to go through all of these, but big news, big wins for the Second Amendment when it comes to suppressors. Okay, I'm sure by now you've heard, we're going to go through some things quickly because I do want to get to the Democrat Socialists of America because there's a fascinating piece, a couple of them, about Hassan Piker, the rising star on the left. We're going to talk about him. We also have a couple things here about AOC. But first, I can't wait to see the coverage of this. I can't wait to see the reaction. The Kennedy Center's board moved yesterday to rename the area around the iconic Performing Arts Center the President Donald J. Trump Plaza and to add Trump's name back onto the building's facade after a federal judge ordered its removal. Trump's allies on the board, says Stephen Nelson, pushed through the changes during a meeting that lasted more than 2 hours after Democrats, including Rhode Island Senator Sheldon Whitehouse and Ohio Representative Joyce Beatty, objected to Trump's plan to renovate and rebrand the aging facility. This is very much like the ballroom. For years, presidents have admitted that there needs to be a ballroom space, but when Trump attaches onto it, now the ballroom's hated. Same here. People have said for years the Kennedy Center needs to be renovated. Trump starts to renovate it, and Democrats say, no, because it's Trump. No, it can't be renovated. We have to keep it in fashion with what I think 70s was the last time it was renovated. Did I hear that? Trump, who chairs the board, participated virtually in part of the meeting and pushed back on criticism of his plans to pour $250 million into refreshing the center, which opened in 1971. The refresh will require the main building's closure for about 2 years. In a twist, the board's latest plan calls for Trump's name to appear beneath the longtime signage on the main hall to read, quote, restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump. The board voted last December to rebrand it the Trump Kennedy Center, but the change was nixed by U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper, who ordered the current president's name removed because it lacked congressional ratification. So what have we heard from Democrats on this move? Beatty said this morning's decision to close the center and the surprise agenda item to put Donald Trump's name back on the building was more of the same. This latest development is a transparent effort to circumvent the court's rulings and flies in the face of the statutes that Congress passed. Well, I think what's interesting about this board decision, it makes a good point. It's not the Trump Kennedy Center. It's just going to have a sign that says renovated by President Donald J. Trump. And again, to fight these renovations is really, I think it shows you, I know Trump derangement syndrome, the term, but the delusion that anything that Trump attaches his name to, whether it's the ballroom, whether it's Kennedy Center, has to be bad. Paolo Zappalli, a presidential appointee to the board, fired back at critics, saying, I call on everyone who is complaining about what we're doing to go walk the building. To all the haters, we're not closing the center. We're closing the main building. We're going to use a $300 million structure called the Reach to do shows, called The Reach to do shows. White House spokeswoman Liz Huston said under President Trump's bold leadership, the Kennedy Center is on its way to becoming the finest cultural institution anywhere in the world. So the media, not happy with it. Kennedy Center board decides to inscribe Trump's name on buildings, says the headlines. It's an aggressive test of a judge's order to remove the name. I don't think we have to go. And the plaza around it, the President Donald J. Trump Plaza. Your thoughts on that? Ahead of the meeting, the board was presented with a 163-page plan for a $250 million renewal project that includes structural repair work, new marble floors, $11.8 million in acoustical improvements, and a plan to temporarily move the famous 3,000-pound bronze bust of Kennedy to the building known as The Reach. The judge said in his order that the board had a legal obligation to maintain the facility as a memorial to Kennedy. All right. Just one of those news stories that you might have even missed because there's always so much going on in the Trump administration. Your thoughts? Is it skirting the rules? Oh. Also, Trump slapped yesterday a 100% tariff on certain drones. Yeah, we're moving fast this morning. Buckle up. The proclamation imposes a 100% tariff on drones, quote, of a certain size or with certain capabilities that are particularly sensitive for national security purposes, including those with a maximum takeoff weight of more than 55 pounds and with thermal imaging capabilities. Docking stations and critical components of those drones are also subject to the 100% levy. Smaller imported drones will be hit with a 25% tariff. A 15% tariff will be imposed on drones and components from the European Union, Japan, South Korea, Switzerland, and Taiwan, while a 10% fee will be tacked on to drones imported from the United Kingdom. All right, I think that's a good start. I think we covered a lot there. Your thoughts? Thank you for all the waves, by the way. Already up to 7, just 12 minutes into the program. Keep those waves coming in. Keep those comments coming in. We do appreciate it. As I said, in the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with our friends from Stika about India Day. India Day is coming up tomorrow. We also have the Corning Rotary holding their summer feast. I'll remind you about that. Some other events coming up that I don't want you to forget. So, stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
It's layaway your swimming pool time at Hesselson's for next year. With Hesselson's Easy Layaway Plan, only $500 down guarantees you this year's price and gets you on an early installation date for next year. But hurry in as next year's list will fill fast. Same great pricing, same great service, same great installation. Come in early so you can enjoy your new swimming pool all summer long. Hesselson's, your locally owned and operated swimming pool store since 1955, will always be there for you today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Let me ask you, does it matter if the law firm you hire focuses on motor vehicle accidents? Has the experience to take on big insurance? Will go to court to win? Has won over $1 billion for their clients? If that matters to you, come to William Mattar. We are the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. Call William Mattar for the recovery you deserve. Hurt in a car, it matters who you hire.
Looking for a meaningful day trip close to home? Visit the historic Elmira Prison Camp, one of the most significant Civil War sites in the North. Walk the grounds, stand where history happened, discover powerful stories of courage, sacrifice, and survival that shaped our nation. Whether you're a history enthusiast, a family looking to learn together, or simply exploring the Finger Lakes region, we offer an experience you won't forget. Plan your visit today at elmiracivilwar.org. Preserve, discover, remember.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. Our Friday is a pleasant one, a high near average of 82, some nice sunshine, a relatively light north wind. We'll see a span of 77 to 82 across the area. Overnight lows in mid-50s with generally clear skies, then 81 for our Saturday, ensuring one more day of sunshine before some Sunday shower and thunderstorm potential. We'll see temperatures in the upper 70s at the start of next week.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Comment from a viewer. Good morning. Well, good morning to you. Regarding Trump's name being associated with his projects, the Democrats need to turn their attention to more important issues and quit wasting the time of the Republicans who are trying, in spite of the complaining, do-nothing Democrats to take care of the more important issues. Thank you very much. Yeah, it all seems like the petty stuff, just like with the ballroom. I'll never understand that, as the ballroom has been needed for quite some time, and past presidents have admitted that. By the way, it's being reported that profits for human smugglers, mainly the Mexican drug cartels, are down significantly, according to a Treasury Department report. This is based on President Trump's policies, which have drastically cut illegal immigration at the nation's border. A financial trend analyst report from the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network found the United States banks flagged more than, get this, $5 billion linked to potential human smuggling from 2023 to 2025. $5 billion. FinCEN Director Andrew Gaki said many human smuggling networks generate profit for larger transnational criminal organizations, including Mexico-based drug cartels. Suspicious activity flagged by financial institutions provides critical information, and we will continue to work closely with both the private sector and law enforcement to dismantle human smuggling networks and protect our borders. In particular, the report states that human smuggling-related transactions fell 62% in 2025, the first year of Trump's second term, compared to 2024, when former President Joe Biden was in office. The dramatic drop in such transactions, is tied to the massive decrease of illegal immigration since the start of 2025. Mark Wayne Mullen said again this month the results are clear. President Trump's border security agenda is restoring order and putting the safety of the American people first. DHS remains focused on enforcing our immigration laws, securing the border, and ensuring those who enter our country illegally are removed swiftly. Now, something to keep in mind as we near, and we're going to be talking about the Democratic Party and Democrat Socialists of America here in just a little bit. But before that, I just want you to keep this in mind as we see the Trump administration working so hard, whether it's like that with immigration, we're talking about our current involvement in Iran, all these things. I want you to keep this in mind as we go to November. This is our kind of daily almost reminder how important November is. This was on MS Now's On the Line. I've never watched it either. But Representative Jake Auchincloss, Democrat from Massachusetts, in reference to Iran, said there was no plan for the war. This president launched this war without consulting allies, without consulting Congress, without consulting his own cabinet. When the very top of the chain of command is corrupt, is incompetent, cannot articulate a mission, cannot execute a mission, it starts to corrode the very basis of that good order and discipline. This is what makes me so worried about the continuation of this quagmire in the Middle East, is that however bad it is right now, it could get so much worse if Congress does not take away the reins from this president. There we go. First start. So host Elisa Menendez said, "You have repeatedly called on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to resign if Democrats are to take back control of Congress. Will impeachment be a priority?" Auchincloss said, "Yes, it should be, absolutely. We need an inquiry. We need oversight and investigations. If the facts yield an impeachment recommendation, we need to pursue that vigorously. This man was unqualified and incompetent to the post on day one, and he has underperformed those abysmal expectations." So, a long way around to tell you that propaganda, but Pete Hegseth, impeachment on the line. Day one, essentially, if Democrats take control of the House and or the Senate. Keep that in mind. All right, I've got to say, do we go already? I went through so many things there. We went through so fast. I don't know if do we already want to talk about Democrat Socialists of America, or should we get into the New York State issues? There is quite a few things here. And I didn't have the picture up. It's not that great a picture, though. Did you see that Marco Rubio, they put together for his birthday those memes that we've all laughed at where he looks like he's taking over a new job, where he's sitting on the couch and he's wearing some type of outfit? The memes have taken off like wildfire. It's one of the reasons why I think Rubio's name is being thrown around so much for potential presidential candidate, because it's a humorous side. The same with when he played DJ at a wedding. It's showing a different side to him. Well, the White House gave him a gold-framed collage for his 55th birthday featuring dozens of versions of the viral, it's called Rubio Realizing meme. that has transformed President Trump's top diplomat into everything from an Iranian Ayatollah to an astronaut. At the center of the 68-panel mosaic is the original picture, unaltered photograph of Rubio slumped on a couch in the Oval Office, signed by Trump in gold ink with a presidential endorsement saying, "You are great." There's Rubio as RoboCop, in the boxes around it, signed by different members of the cabinet. There's Rubio as RoboCop, astronaut, White House Easter Bunny, Cardinal Rubio preparing for a papal conclave, Rubio bundled up as the leader of Greenland, and one where Rubio holds up a sign that says, "Please stop making memes about me." I guess an Axios reporter tweeted this out earlier in the week and it's gaining traction. While nearly 70 images may sound excessive, the joke lands particularly well for a cabinet official who has already accumulated an unusually high number of real roles. Rubio serves as Secretary of State and acting National Security Advisor, and previously pulled double duty as acting archivist and acting administrator of the U.S. Agency for International Development. The meme began with a decidedly more serious moment on February 28, 2025, when Trump, Vance, Rubio, and other administration officials met with Ukrainian President Zelensky. I'm giving you the history of the meme now. A photograph from the contentious meeting captured Rubio sitting low on a couch, his hands interlocked with an expression on his face that the internet quickly interpreted as a man coming to an uncomfortable realization. And then the Photoshop began. When Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro was captured, meme Rubio appeared dressed to take over the country. When Tim Walz announced he would not seek re-election, Rubio turned up in a blaze orange hunting gear with shotgun included. This meme thing, this is what Rubio said on Laura Trump's show. This meme thing, was interesting because when it first came out, I hated that picture. "If you don't have a pillow behind your back, you kind of sink," he said of the couch. And then it turned out into this other thing, and it was fine and it's funny. Dan Scavino made a nice board for me, and even since he made that board, we had to update it, which raises an obvious question. Rubio may already need a bigger frame. There you go. All right, a little fun on that, since we've been talking about a lot of heavy stuff. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about this Hassan Piker. I think it's someone that we need to know. There's no doubt that he is a rising star among the left. He was campaigning with al-Assad. He campaigned. I know she lost, but Francisca Hong. But it's important to understand him because he is a voice, a very leading voice in the Democrat Party. As I mentioned, Andrew Cuomo is essentially begging the party to not go towards socialism. We're going to tell you about that. There's also, there's a lot on this. There was I think it was about 20 pages. And it was by the New York Times, where moderates see socialists as a threat to the Democrat Party, and socialists agree. Democrat socialists are capturing more votes than ever before, even as they run up against the limits of their appeal. Well, and this is all about, and it's a really interesting piece, but they want to be, they relish in this these attacks by moderates. I think the attacks by moderates are a little overstated in the media, because the media is not talking about the civil war in the Democrat Party. They're presenting it as, progressives versus moderates, which it's socialists versus progressives. I like that term better, but they're downplaying this. But the moderates, the establishment, the progressives, they're stooping and bowing to the DSA. They're scared. Look at Governor Hochul. Look at Gavin Newsom. Look at Kamala Harris, who they're all trying to embrace this extremely far left because they're worried about getting their votes, or depending on which candidate or which person we're talking about, they don't want a challenger like with Hochul. Remember, Hochul endorsed Mamdani right out of the gate, one of the first to do it. So we'll talk a little bit about the Democrat Socialists of America. Feel free to weigh in at any time. As I mentioned, we're going to hear about India Day in the 7 o'clock hour on Monday. Listen to this lineup next week. On Monday, we're going to talk with Nick Pelham about the Steuben County Fair. Yes, next week kicks off the Steuben County Fair. Monday is actually a really exciting day. If you like harness races, I know we've been talking a lot about horses on this program lately. If you like harness races, they're having a huge turnout. I can't remember how many horses there's going to be, but this isn't typical. In years past, you have some really good races up there. But on Monday, it is a big, big day for harness racing at the Steuben County Fair, one of the biggest, I would argue. So you will learn all about that on Monday. If you want more information about that, I'm sure you can find it at their website about the harness races, because I don't have it right in front of me, and I thought maybe I could find it. But I know I learned that about our horse racing fans out there. I learned that just the other day. So, and then on Tuesday, we're going to talk with Robert Barnum. He has a new book out. He teaches up at Corning Community College. He's got a new book out called Wrestling with the Cold War, and it's about the importance of wrestling. You think about the wrestling during the Cold War and the heroes and the villains that were wrestling. It's gonna be a neat conversation. So if you want to text in some questions about wrestling, feel free to do that. All right, we got to take a short break. I didn't mean to ramble on there. Thanks for joining us on this Friday edition of Frankly Speaking. We'll be right back.
Firefighters responding to a fire alarm on Wednesday found several safety violations.
I'm on scene right now where the commercial fire happened yesterday. As you can see, the building is in complete ruins.
They're pushing for an additional $250 million to the state budget.
Free local pantry here in her front lawn and painted posts.
The Vencino Group says it will cover hotel stays for residents through March 20th.
With the U.S. Department of State releasing a travel caution worldwide.
This year, WYDC is bringing you 25 New York Mets games free over the air this spring and summer. No fees and no subscription services. Tune into WJKP 48.2 to watch the New York Mets this MLB season. Let's go Mets!
Give kids time. Just 5 minutes a day. Ask them how they're feeling. And listen.
Small businesses are the heart of America. Like you, these entrepreneurs started out with a dream and the drive to build a better life. If you have a small business idea to grow or challenge to face, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1964, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses. Today, they are the nation's largest nonprofit source of expert mentoring, resources, and education. Whether you're starting out, building back, or have worked at it for years, SCORE will match you with specialized mentors. Our thousands of volunteers provide the guidance and connections you need for free. Your success is waiting. SCORE is ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson's studio. All right, we got some viewer comments. Funny illegals have been stopped and removed, but all our restaurants and hotels and food processing plants stayed open. The world didn't come to an end. Yeah, that was a weird argument that the left was making. That you raise a good point. Ken writes in, I had the conversation yesterday with my wife, and it's been said millions of times. It doesn't matter what Trump, anyone in his administration, or anyone that says or agrees with Trump says or does. It will always be framed in a negative way. And if the left can bring some type of lawfare against them, they will, to try and scare people away from Trump and the Republicans. It's not about good governance. It's about the Democrats getting back in power and back to their monetary enrichments. You're right, Ken. It does not matter if Trump's name's attached to it. I mean, it almost became a cliche joke back during his first term. But if Trump cured cancer, they'd say he was destroying the pharmaceutical industry. And that's not off the mark. We've seen the stories. It does not matter what his name's attached to, whether, like I said, with the ballroom, whether the Kennedy Center. But that's just very small. I mean, they wanted to see the reflecting pool fail. They didn't want the 250th celebration to be a success. The New York Times journalist who said that he didn't want to see a win in Iran because it would be a political positive for the president. So you're spot on, Ken. And it's more than just, I know we all call it Trump derangement syndrome, but it's more than just that. It is really a sickness. and the media is pushing the narrative. The media is probably the worst villain in it. That's not the word I want to use, but the worst the worst group that is pushing the narrative that everything Trump does is negative. Now we've got, and a lot of that is what's led to, and this is my segue, to the Democrat Socialists of America. Because if you just watch the mainstream media, and you've been told for over a decade now how bad Trump is, comparing him to Hitler, comparing him to Nazis in general, comparing him, you think, you name it, the worst of the worst. And you've been watching that for 10 years, and you've become so full of hate and rage. That's why I think Trump derangement syndrome kind of even downplays it, that term. It's so full of hate and rage, then someone offering this radicalism like Hassan Piker from the left saying that America deserved 9/11, does that end up, what's the word I want to use, look like a positive for you? Does that look like someone that's speaking your language? Because again, 10 years of constant hate is not healthy for anybody. But I think it's led to the rise in the Democrat Socialists of America, because their hate has expanded not just to Trump, because it's not, hate doesn't just, when you have 10 years of built up hate, it doesn't just find an outlet and it goes away. You got to continue. It's like anything, it's almost like a drug. You got to continue to find more things to hate. And then that leads to, sadly, not just in the Democrat Socialists of America, but the Democrat Party in general, the anti-Semitism. It leads to the hate in the country, like Hassan Piker is pushing. I know that Hassan Piker, when we're going to talk about him overall, but he's starting to try to walk back the America deserved 9/11. He said, I said in 2019, and if you listen to the full conversation, you very quickly understand what I'm talking about. I should have phrased things better. The full quote was, "This is so insane. America deserved 9/11, dude. Blanket. I'm saying it. We totally brought it upon ourselves." Piker continued on the broadcast, say, "I apologize for those who I've offended. But most important, apologize for giving an opportunity to the right to just use this against me." So he's not sad about what he said. He doesn't regret saying it. He just doesn't like he's being attacked for saying it. That's kind of a very liberal mindset, isn't it? I want to be able to do whatever I want, say whatever I want, and have no repercussions. I guess that's exactly what he's asking for here. I'm sorry that the Democrats or that the Republicans have been able to use this against me. Now, even al-Assad, who campaigned with him, said that he's trying to get away from Piker's comments, saying that it's just gotcha politics when asked about him. We saw the same thing with AOC when it came to Frederica Hong. They're trying to say, woke point one or whatever it was. But Piker received backup from Bernie Sanders over the 9/11 comments when the socialist told CNN, meaning Bernie Sanders, "I think that's a dumb statement. On the other hand, he has a whole lot of followers, and there are a lot of things that he says that are making sense to a lot of people. We need a big tent. And I think people like Piker should be welcomed into that, certainly." Elsewhere in the podcast, Piker defended his use of pejoratives for Israeli settlers, calling Republicans inbred hicks. "I've called Republicans inbred hicks my whole life. I call, Nazis inbred. I call them pigs. All these different things, I've got banned for this." Okay. So, Bernie Sanders saying, hey, it's a big tent. This is what but when the anti-Semitism seemed to grow exponentially very quickly is when Ken Martin, the head of the DNC, was asked about this anti-Semitism. And I can't remember which candidate it was. Maybe it was, I don't remember. I don't want to guess. But they asked about this anti-Semitism. And they said, do you denounce it? No, we're a big tent. We're a big tent. Bernie Sanders saying the same thing. Oh, well, he said America deserves 9/11. Well, he's got a big audience, so we need that. So it's a big tent. Kind of back to Ken's point, nothing is off limits, just like their hatred of Trump. As long as they can grow their power, nothing is off limits. That's why Graham Plattner, they could look the other way with his Nazi tattoo. And a lot of allegations before the final allegation, they could look the other way because at the end of the day, it all boils down to their power in the midterm. And that's why, to win in the midterm and then in 2028. Because again, that's what I find so troubling and so disturbing, that people hate Trump so much that they say, we want to lose. We want the United States to lose in the war on Iran because a win would be positive for the president. That's troubling. That's when you need to take a step back from politics and take a breather. But we got to, speaking of taking a step back and taking a breather, I got to take a short break. Stay with us. I think we're having some fun this morning. Keep those comments coming in. We'll be right back.
One big day of smooth jazz awaits you at the Ferrario Elmira Jazz Festival. Join us at Thorne Street Park Saturday, August 15th for chart-topping jazz keyboardist Brian Simpson and soprano saxophonist Marion Meadows with local favorite Top Shelf. Celebrate with us. Tickets only $42. It's one big day. Buy tickets at ElmiraJazzFestival.com. Brian, Marion, and Top Shelf. One big day.
It's more than music.
Did you know that children growing up with poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children that grow up with good air quality? And unfortunately, poor communities have poor air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this. Today, the IQ Air Foundation provides filtration technology to schools with poor air quality through our Clean Air for Kids program. Our goal is to help over 50,000 school children every year breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, helping to level the playing field, reduce barriers to learning, reduce sick days, and increase test scores. Mitigating poor air quality is key to environmental justice. Help Clean Air for Kids reach more children at IQAirFoundation.org.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. Our Friday is a pleasant one, a high near average of 82, some nice sunshine, a relatively light north wind. We'll see a span of 77 to 82 across the area. Overnight lows in mid-50s with generally clear skies, then 81 for our Saturday, ensuring one more day of sunshine before some Sunday shower and thunderstorm potential. We'll see temperatures in the upper 70s at the start of next week.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam. Brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. So talking about Hassan Piker, he called on the Democrat Party and their leaders to defend him and accept his place in their coalition as Republican criticism of his rhetoric emerged. So here is another example of, hey, I want to be able to say and do whatever I want with no criticism. While a former staffer for Joe Biden said that candidates should disavow Piker and refocus on local issues. Yeah, this is because what's going to happen, and rightfully so, people are going to be focused on him, on Piker. So they should. Now, the media won't do it like they would a Republican. I mean, think of how many times a Republican would be asked if someone in the party said that America deserved 9/11. But as a Democrat, they may be asked because an outlet may feel obligated, but it's going to be quick. It's going to be no follow-up. But during the live stream event, Piker declared himself part of the Democrat coalition and said Republicans were using criticism of him to distract from what he described as the cost of living crisis. Democrats, listen to me. I know we don't always see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, but you have to literally, at some point, I know you don't want to do this, defend me. Not because you love what I have to say, not because I'm part of this coalition, even though I am, whether you like it or not. But you are going to inevitably have to say this is a ridiculous conversation that we're having, because the real conversation Republicans don't want to have is a cost of living crisis. But who's going to ask that? The media is not going. The media is going to drop Hassan Piker. They essentially already have. They don't talk about al-Assad's connection to him. They don't talk about all of these far left candidates' connection to him. So who does he want the Democrats to defend him from? The Republicans? And that's only going to come up, in debates? That requires you to basically take an L, meaning a loss, a little bit, and maybe be a bit more honest about how I'm not this dangerous, toxic, radical force. So he's lecturing them, saying, you have to take the loss. I won here, guys. I won here. You got to be a bit more honest about me. You know I'm not this dangerous, toxic, radical force. We do? Democrats don't have to adopt every influencer who happens to support some Democrat candidate, said moderate Democrat strategist Yamsi Eggebol. I don't understand why they would waste their political capital on it either. Hassan is perfectly capable of defending himself. Don't embrace him, and he erases himself from the conversation. Fair enough. Liberal streamer Stephen Bonnell, known online as Destiny, told Fox News that party officials and voters had to decide whether Piker belonged in the Democrat coalition, but made clear he did not believe Piker should be a part of the party, saying the party and the voters need to decide that. I don't believe an illiberal Marxist whose goal is to overthrow capitalism and to devote himself singularly to the hatred of the West should be a part of my party. He urged Democrat leaders and candidates to define the party's boundaries, warning that embracing Piker could drive moderate Democrats out of the coalition. You want to say coalition, but isn't it a big tent, sir? Isn't that what Bernie Sanders said? Isn't that what Ken Martin said? That everybody's welcome. Ken Martin said anti-Semites, welcome in the party. Bernie Sanders saying essentially the same. A guy that says America deserved 9/11, yeah, it's a big tent. Welcome to the party. But Bonnell continued, Democrat leadership and candidates running for office need to decide if they feel like this should be a part of what the Democrat Party is. I hope that they decide otherwise. If they fail to do so, I imagine a large number of moderate Democrats will look at the party and feel like it doesn't represent a coalition they want to remain a part of. Now, Piker campaigned with Michigan Democrat Senate nominee Abdul al-Assad before he narrowly defeated moderate Representative Hallie Stevens, and rallied with Michigan gubernatorial candidate and Democrat Socialists of America member Francesca Hong before David Crowley defeated her. Piker previously called for Democrats who opposed al-Assad to face punishment. He also said when al-Assad, the numbers weren't as good as they thought they were going to be on election night, he said that the whole Michigan, all of Michigan, and remember, the Democrat Party in Michigan, because it was a primary, the Democrat Party in Michigan is full of Islamophobic people. He was screaming that at the campaign celebration. Of course, using cuss words as he want to do, but saying that all those Democrat voters that came out and didn't vote for al-Assad, couldn't be because they didn't like his far-left socialist policies. It had to be because they were Islamophobic. Okay. Crowley ruled out campaigning with Piker while seeking to unite Democrats against Republicans. No, I don't plan on campaigning with Hassan. I don't want to lend credibility to platforms that I believe further divides us. So really the only group asking the question is Fox News and conservative outlets asking about Hassan Piker. But again, I can't remember. Think of, who was it? Was it Romney's campaign? Might have been before that. But it seems like every campaign they would always ask Republicans nonstop about David Duke. Remember that? You're not seeing the same kind of coverage with Hassan Piker. As a matter of fact, most of the time Hassan Piker, as we're going to get to here in just a moment, is celebrated in the media. Nobody owes you a single thing. Hassan Piker and his fan base are relentlessly brutal towards anyone they have the slightest disagreement with. Piker will mock, smear, defame, and ruthlessly target his ideological adversaries. He deserves the same level of sympathy and support he gives everyone else. Zero. If Democrats, and Maggie Jacobs said, if Democrats want the conversation not to be about Hassan Piker, the logical path is to disavow Hassan Piker. If they embrace Hassan Piker, the conversation about Hassan Piker will continue. I'm going to say it. I think Hassan Piker is the voice and the face of the Democrat Party. Why do I say that? Because aren't we told that Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and others are the face of the Republican Party? They're MAGA. They speak for MAGA. If that's the stories that we brought up so much that became comical on this program, that they were our leading MAGA stars, if that's the narrative in the media, shouldn't the narrative be that Hassan Piker is the voice, is the champion of the Democrat Party? I think that's a fair connection to make. If we follow the media's rules, that would be the next logical step. But so they're saying, oh, moderates hate him. There's a piece, online agitator Hassan Piker is driving Democrats up a wall. We're going to talk about that, but listen to this. So he goes on and says, Democrats, you have to defend me. But let me give you these two headlines and just show you what I mean. Online agitator Hassan Piker is driving Democrats up a wall. Article number 2. Top House Democrats jump to Hassan Piker's defense after canceled college event. Yeah, we're going to tell you about that. But I think it's worth noting Hassan Piker, the new face of the Democrat Party, the new voice of the Democrat Party. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
The only thing more American than apple pie and 4th of July is baseball. This year, WYDC is bringing you 25 New York Mets games free over the air this spring and summer. No fees and no subscription services. Just turn on WJKP 48.2 and grab a comfortable seat right at home to watch baseball history unfold. Make sure you don't miss a home run. And tune into WJKP 48.2 to watch the New York Mets this MLB season. Let's go Mets!
Give kids time. Ask them how they're feeling. And listen.
What is Spectrum Internet? It's secure internet for you and your family.
It's keeping kids like us safe online.
It's everything you want it to be. Switch today at spectrum.com.
Never considered myself to be a heavy drinker. At first, I only drank with friends, then to get through the day. I hit rock bottom when I realized I was choosing alcohol over my family. That's when I made the call. With my doctor's help, I was diagnosed with alcohol use disorder. Now, I'm getting to the root of my addiction and finding better ways to cope. Mental health care works when you make the call.
Our beautiful view of historic Market Street in the heart of the Gaffer District. That view brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Talking Hassan Piker. Oh, Mark wrote in about something we referenced earlier. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Mark. That's a great win for our Second Amendment rights. Now we need a lot more because they're constantly trying to take away our rights. You're right. Comment from a different viewer. Heaven forbid if the communists ever get control of the government and it fails, the propaganda news will advocate for the change would find some way to blame Republicans. Yeah, the propaganda. Well, let's get right to it. In the run-up to Michigan's heated Senate race, Abdul al-Sahad hit the trail with a key surrogate, Hassan Piker. The two took selfies with students in Ann Arbor and stopped by a pool party for content creator supporter of al-Sahad in Detroit. In between, he popped over to Milwaukee to campaign for Democrat socialist Francesca Hong. On election night, Piker held court at al-Assad's watch party. Hassan is reaching folks no one else is talking to, al-Assad wrote in an email. Every event I do, I get seniors who ask how I get so many young people to come, and young people who will say, I saw you on Hassan. One of the most controversial and influential online commentators, Piker has become famous for the impassioned left-wing appeals he makes to an audience of millions. He criticizes Israel and its supporters on hours-long live streams, leading opponents to accuse him of anti-Semitism. Okay. He has said that America deserved 9/11, one of the remarks that he said he could have phrased more carefully. He currently is banned from entering the United Kingdom because his presence may not be conductive to the public good. His broadside take aim at both Republicans and Democrats in a brazen, provocative tone that now hits the leftist internet and has drawn 35-year-old Piker into debates and attack ads during the primaries. His name has become a political litmus test as Democrats fight over the party's future. James Carville, John Fetterman have threatened to leave the party over his rise, though Carville walked back his words. He does that a lot, doesn't he? AOC and Bernie Sanders have teamed up with him. When asked on a radio show about al-Sahad's decision to campaign with Piker, his opponent, Hallie Stevens, said, I think that we should all be condemning some of the words of Hassan Piker. After al-Assad's primary victory, the National Republican Senatorial Committee released an ad that seized on Piker's remarks and criticized al-Assad for refusing to disavow them. Days later, al-Assad called the 9/11 comments dumb, though he also characterized questions about the quote as gotcha politics. This is, again, why a Democrat could never handle to be a Republican for 10 seconds. Because if he thinks that's gotcha politics, unbelievable. Hey, you know this person that you supported and supported you was one of your surrogates? He said that America deserved 9/11. What is this, gotcha politics? And by the way, what is it was just saying the comments dumb? That's basically what Bernie Sanders said. That's all that is? That comment's dumb. That's it. It's not offensive. It's not disgusting, vile. No, just dumb. Piker says, when he spoke with the Wall Street Journal, he doesn't think that his comments that led critics to accuse him of anti-Semitism, such as likening liberal Zionists to liberal Nazis and saying he would vote for Hamas over Israel every time, could cause harm, even at a time when hostility towards Jews is rising globally, saying, quote, there are people out there who speak about Jewish people from a very anti-Semitic perspective. Some of them are on the right, as a matter of fact, and those people do not get the same level of scrutiny that I do. Yeah, no, that's... Wow, what a whiny kid. Man, no wonder he is so popular with the left. So whiny. He thinks that the right is given a clear path on anything? Because how many articles did we see where, especially when the anti-Semitism started to rise in the Democrat Party, when we saw the rise, people said, well, the Republicans there too. Unbelievable. Now comes the real question. Can the candidates backed by Piker go all the way? Piker said, I don't think that progressives have a harder time beating Republicans. I think that logic is flawed. It's just somewhat untested. He has 3.1 million Twitch followers and millions more on X, Instagram, and YouTube. He's become a stand-in for the existential threat facing the Democrat establishment. He appeals to populists whose views skew DSA. He advocates for a wealth tax for billionaires, rent control, a free Palestinian state, and cuts to U.S. military spending in Iran. This is from Wall Street Journal, too, by the way. I meant to give credit where credit's due. Now, James Carville said the Democrats never have and never will nominate a leftist candidate. So be very nice to people because you're going to have to be nice to them in the general. The things are fine. We must pivot to the center mentality is exactly what caused the Democrats to lose to Trump twice, said Piker after hearing Carville's response. The difference this time around is the voters are aware of it. I do find this interesting because the Democrat Party is going through something that Republicans went through quite some time ago, which was they kept being told the only way we can win is Hillary Clinton. The only way we can win is Joe Biden, which he did temporarily. The only way we can win is Harris. Republicans went through something very similar when it was Romney, McCain, and like that. So Hassan Piker, though, was taking it to an extreme and saying, okay, we lost to Trump twice, so let's get so radical that we're pushing anti-Semitism, that we're pushing that America deserved 9/11. So it's not comparable because they keep trying to say DSA's rise is similar to the Tea Party. Not at all. The Tea Party was pro-America. They wanted to see America prosper and grow and believed in American exceptionalism, where the DSA is the opposite. But they're saying that he's really become, and this is about probably a 10-page article about him, and I don't want to go through his history. I don't think you care about his background. Maybe you do. But candidates elevated by Piker have notched wins. He disagrees with those who have called him a kingmaker for socialist politicians, but believes he's on the crest of a new political wave and the front lines of a new vision for the left, saying, I've told the Democrats over and over again. Man, he is full of himself. You can't podcast your way out of this problem. You have to change your policies. You have to change your outlook. Pushing towards socialism. But we have a few more things on him because, like I said, all the Democrats hate him until they defend him, until they prop him up. We'll talk a little bit more about it. I don't want to spend too much time on him, but it does tie in with the Democrat Socialists of America clearly and the conversation we'll have there. So stay with us. Wow. Getting ready to wrap up hour number one already? Wow. Stay with us. Get those last second comments in for hour number one.
I'm Grace. I'm Ida, and I lived in California. Timmy was just a puppy when I moved in. He's a emotional support animal. I had Missy, who is 15 years old and blind. Likes the people, he likes to greet all the people. All the employees are happy to see him. I feel that my pets are very welcome here. I feel very welcome here. I think it's great.
Mark your calendars. The future of agriculture takes center stage at the Youth Livestock Sale, Saturday, August 22nd at the Steuben County Fair. Come support hardworking Junior Ag Society, FFA youth, and independent youths from throughout Steuben County as they auction off the animals they've raised with pride and dedication. Cattle, pigs, goats, chickens, and more. All proceeds of the sale going directly to the youth. Join us Saturday, August 22nd at the Steuben County Fairgrounds. Support the youth, build the future.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers, our Friday is a pleasant one, a high near average of 82, some nice sunshine, a relatively light north wind. We'll see a span of 77 to 82 across the area. Overnight lows in mid-50s with generally clear skies, then 81 for our Saturday, ensuring one more day of sunshine before some Sunday shower and thunderstorm potential. We'll see temperatures in the upper 70s at the start of next week.
What a beautiful view. Never gets old. That view brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. We're talking about Hasim Piker, but as I said, they're all, the media realizes, I think, to an extent, that he could be very detrimental to Democrats. So they're saying, oh, moderate or establishment Democrats are distancing themselves. But then we get this. A top House Democrat is speaking out against the university's decision to cancel an appearance by Hasim Piker. Representative Pramila Jayapal, the former Congressional Progressive Caucus chair, publicly called on students, I guess she's establishment, but she's Democrat socialist, so maybe I overhyped it. But she publicly called on students at the University of Washington to work with the university to ensure that Piker was able to speak. As a member of the Judiciary Committee, I have been absolutely clear that free speech is a constitutional right that we must all stand up and protect. I have been communicating my concerns about this cancellation of the Hasim Piker event directly to the university, and they've informed me that they are doing an internal review to ensure this never happens again. It's not really a problem when these universities canceled every conservative speaker for years. Not really an issue. Now it is. I see. Piker posted on X earlier in the week that the event was canceled due to his criticism of Israel. I wish the Democrats were smarter and didn't let the right-wing groups be the only people who speak out against the clear violations of First Amendment. But unfortunately, my position as a prominent critic of Israel stops them from using this moment to show the show GOP as arch cancel culture warriors. All right. Turning Point USA's Andrew Colvett posted on Twitter, let the radical Mao-loving communist Hasim Piker speak, so long as he can resist the urge to call for the death of his political opponents. Universities do this to Turning Point USA often and blame some administration error, etc. It's wrong. Let him speak. Let conservatives speak peacefully. All right. Yeah, we're going to talk just a little bit more about him because it does tie in, and there's interesting here because, again, we're told that he isn't the face of the Democrat Party, but of course, at the end of the day, he is. Why? Because if Tucker Carlson is the voice of MAGA, why wouldn't Hasim Piker be the voice of Democrats? Well, we can talk more about this. We'll tie in with more Democrat Socialists of America. Don't forget, coming up in the next hour, we're going to hear all about India Day. We do have some New York State updates as well. Hard to believe that hour number 1 is in the books, but we thank you so much for joining us. Keep those comments, keep those waves coming in. For this Friday edition of Frankly Speaking. Looking forward to the weekend. On Monday, we're going to hear from Nick Pelham, who is the manager of the Steuben County Fair, the oldest fair in the country. That begins next week with harness racing on Monday and then events throughout the week. You're not going to want to miss it. There's a lot of fun. We're going to talk all about it on Monday's edition. Then on Tuesday, we're going to talk with Robert Barnum about his new book, Wrestling with the Cold War. And it's all about the importance, if you will, of wrestling at that time of the scariness of, if you will, of the Cold War, making the enemies, the heels, who they made. We're going to learn all about it on Tuesday. And I think there's a few more throughout the week, but let's just keep it for a couple days. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back with hour number 2 after this.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at nationalcasagal.org.
Big day of smooth jazz awaits you at the Ferrario Elmira Jazz Festival. Join us at Thorne Street Park Saturday, August 15th for chart-topping jazz keyboardist Brian Simpson and soprano saxophonist Marion Meadows with local favorite Top Shelf. Celebrate with us. Tickets only $42. It's one big day. Buy tickets at ElmiraJazzFestival.com. Brian, Marion, and Top Shelf. One big day.
It's more than music.
You deserve primary care that connects. Care that helps you move forward. To a provider who knows you. To the care you need. To the life you love. That's the power of a strong connection. Meet your new primary care provider at centralishealth.org/schedule and be seen with innovation.
And we welcome you to hour number 2 of Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. We're so glad that you've joined us this morning. As I mentioned, if you are just joining us, we're going to be hearing all about India Day. There's 2 events, right, that I have. I'm sure there's other events, but 2 that I have on the calendar. And just so you prepare, grab your calendar. This is for tomorrow. We're going to hear all about India Day coming up in just a little bit. But there's your kind of glance at what's happening. It takes place tomorrow from 4 to 8 p.m. right in Centerway Square in downtown Corning. But there's also, as you're aware, because we talked with them last week, the Rotary of Corning presenting Summer Feast, Pigs, Swig, and Boogie, the Hawaiian barbecue, tomorrow from 1 to 6 p.m. at the skating rink at Corning Civic Center. Looks like a lot of fun. So you've got a lot going on tomorrow. I wanted you to make sure that you marked your calendar. All right, let's get right to it. David Marcus, we're talking about Hassan Piker. David Marcus said that Democrats scored a narrow but ultimately a victory in Wisconsin Tuesday night as the wacky Thanksgiving-hating and Hassan Piker-backed gubernatorial candidate Francesca Hong lost the primary to a more moderate candidate. But their socialism problem is far from cured. Yeah, this idea, and I think this is another example of the media trying to say, nope, see, look, it's all over because they're terrified of what the losses could mean. Just as in Michigan 2 weeks ago, the polls in this Democrat primary reflected about as much reality as Alice in Wonderland, as all of them had Hong with a seemingly insurmountable lead of over 15 points. The prediction markets had Hong's chances of winning at 96% on Tuesday morning. But something happened on the way to her coronation. Actual flesh and blood voters decided that socialist policies, such as abolishing police and ICE, aren't really what they want. Based on reporting from the ground in the Midwest, it has been warning for weeks that polls have been absurdly favoring socialist candidates, such as Abdul al-Assad, who squeaked out a 1-point win after every survey put him up double digits. This has left Democrats with the most serious problem they have faced in a generation, because half their voters seem to want a socialist utopia, while the other half just wants normal, everyday Democrat candidates to the extent that those even exist. Democrat establishment leaders like Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries keep insisting that Democrats just have a big tent and that this is a good thing. But what does that really mean? Well, it was Ken Martin. I know no one who knows who Ken Martin is, but he is the leader of the Democrat Party. If the Democrats' big tent includes proposals, sorry, I have a fly in here. If the Democrats' big tent includes proposals such as abolishing the Senate and Supreme Court, seizing private property, and, as one of the New York's mayor, Zohran Mamdani's top aides puts it, quote, impoverishing the white middle class, end quote, then voters have a right to believe that electing Democrats might bring those things about. In the final 10 days of the Michigan race, Piker and the DSA were basically al-Assad's running mates. At first, the party thought it had found electoral gold, as the polls posited a supercharged socialist blowout. They were ready to send Piker everywhere and to plaster his face all over America. When the lead turned out to be fool's gold, Democrats realized they had made a huge mistake, and that Piker and his lunatic ravings about Israel and murdering United States senators had done far more harm than good. Even having realized that, however, the party is stuck with Piker and the DSA for now. For weeks, Democrats have been insisting that the anti-Semitic Twitch streamer is a major voice for young people who must be given space and a platform. and that America is trending towards socialism. Well, not so fast, commies. It's far too late for Democrats to disavow Piker now, and the odds of him shutting up and going away on his own, especially after last week's Rolling Stone fashion shoot, are somewhat between narrow and non-existent. Piker is to Republicans what cowbells is to Christopher Walken. They need more. The GOP has a fever, and the only cure is more Hassan Piker, who seems to say things daily that makes Democrats miss Graham Plattner. Republicans are going to tie al-Assad and every Democrat candidate in America to Piker and communist crazies. And where is the lie? Who in the party, other than Senator John Fetterman, has said a word against them? When you combine this with the galaxy-sized polling misses, all in the favor of the left, in this cycle, who is to say that Michelle Tafoya can't flip the Minnesota Senate seat red, or that Bruce Blakeman can't unseat Governor Kathy Hochul in the Empire State's governor's race? Elections are stories, not math problems. And boy, do Republicans have a good story to tell now that Democrats have embraced Piker and the radical left. If destroying the Constitution and attacking white people is inside the Democratic tent, there are a lot of ordinary, everyday American voters who will not be in that tent. Democrats will try very hard in the coming weeks to move to the center and put all this socialism behind them. But so long as they're tied to Piker and the communists, they will never be able to get there. I thought that was a good point by David Marcus. Now, Mark Dubowitz and Ben Cohen said what's interesting is that there's kind of a hidden alliance that links Tucker Carlson and Hassan Piker. I don't want to go through all of it because it's really it's about the non-support of Israel, the actually hatred of Israel, and some other points. It's a lengthy piece and gets very much in the history books, but if you're interested, you can find it at the New York Post. It's by Mark Dubowitz, Chief Executive of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. But this ties in with a larger picture on socialism, right? According to the New York Times, who did about a 21-page article here, moderates see socialists as a threat to the Democrat Party, and socialists are agreeing with that. They don't care. They want to be the fly in the ointment. They want to have the moderate Democrats scared. They want to beat over. Now, you know my opinion on this. I think the Democrat Socialists of America did something that the Democrats couldn't do. Now, keep in mind, there's fights between the DSA, and the Democrats. It's a weird civil war going on here. But they said, okay, we're going to do the ground game that the establishment's not going to do. We're going to take on the establishment. And if we win in very liberal states like New York, we're guaranteed to win the general, essentially. So that's one big notch in their belt. But then they go to other areas, and it wasn't as successful, but they thought, okay, if we can win in these other areas, there's going to be so much hatred for Trump that if we get past that primary, like with Assad, we've got it. That's their thought. But they did the work that the Democrat establishment wasn't willing to do, and now the Democrat establishment acts as if they're upset or concerned about it. They're not. They're just as much pushing towards the socialism. They just don't. They like to keep it quiet. They don't like to scream it from the rooftops. So if you're interested, it is kind of an interesting read. In what the Democrat Party's Summer of Socialism, as an email from the Republican National Committee cheerfully called it in the morning, Ashik Sadiq, a co-chair of the Democrat Socialists of America, was standing on a chair outside a bar rallying his comrades. Zoran's race is a big proof of concept, he told the crowd, which had gathered in Chicago on the last day of July for a DSA organizing summit. Many of the 100 or so members assembled around him and volunteered for the campaign of Zoran Mamdani, the recently elected New York City mayor and DSA stalwart. We can scale that up on all over the country over the next year and a half. The DSA is not generally an organization of outsized personalities. Its leaders tend to exude a self-effacing, slightly dorky enthusiasm. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to go through that whole piece, but they want to destroy the Democrat Party. And let's face it, the Democrat Party themselves are allowing them to do it. Now, Andrew Cuomo, our former governor, he went to the Daily News. And he said this political season, the major dynamic among Democrats is an ideological contest between the new far left and party moderates. I think it is less ideological than premortal. Democrats are angry and frustrated. That anger is driven primarily by President Trump, compounded by surrounding himself with America's richest and most powerful. Bernie Sanders' decades-old cry against oligarchy now resonates because the moment has met the message. Economic hardship for working families and young people exasperates their frustration and disenfranchisement, while a tepid Democrat leadership response adds to anti-establishment sentiment, which I find that interesting. And that's been one of the arguments. Oh, they're just not doing enough. The Democrats aren't doing enough. They've been trying to fight Trump tooth and nail, but that's what happens when you don't have the House or the Senate. So this is kind of, and by the way, this is very typical Cuomo, but very disingenuous from Cuomo, because his caving to the far left has helped create this monster that he's now trying to fight. That's why we had bail reform. That's why we had the green policies. He caved to the left every time he had an opportunity. And I don't like this far left and moderates. I do think it's socialists and far left progressives. But anyway, many Democrats, especially younger ones, are angry at Israel over Gaza. The deaths and suffering, this is coming again from Andrew Cuomo, the deaths and suffering are unquestionably a grave human tragedy. But surprisingly, that anger has metastasized into actual anti-Semitism, not merely opposition to Israel's government, but blaming Jewish Americans and contributing to anti-Semitic incidents, with physical assaults reaching record levels. Why are American Jews being targeted in a way no other ethnic or religious group has been in modern history? Anti-Trump and anti-Semitic sentiment coalesce into a broader anti-establishment movement fueled by younger voters and immigrants. In last year's New York City mayoral election, I won among voters born in the city, but lost among recent residents. In Michigan, Abdul al-Assad dominated college towns and university counties, while Hallie Stevens won more than 60% in Detroit and carried traditional Democrat strongholds. This is more about emotion than ideology. If ideology were driving it, the movement would select candidates best positioned to defeat Republicans. Instead, it has chosen far-left candidates less competitive than many moderates they defeated. The organized opposition is largely the Democrat Socialists of America, with only 120,000 members and little coherent ideology. Its platform reflects a deep frustration and alienation with the system. Eliminate the presidency in favor of a parliamentary system. Eliminate the Supreme Court and Senate, and defund the police. Many of these proposals require a constitutional amendment approved by 2/3 of Congress and 3/4 of the states. Nor can a state realistically become socialist. Tax the rich and redistribution sounded enticing, but ultimately risk driving wealth to the other 49 states. It's already happened. What should Democrats do? Let it run its course? Trump will leave office, anti-Trump anger will subside, and hopefully peace will come in the Middle East. I disagree with Cuomo on a lot of stuff. Let me make that very clear. Anti-Trump anger will not subside. And you've heard my prediction. You can mark it down and remember it. As soon as Trump's term is up and whoever the Republican nominee is, I don't care if it's Vance, I don't care if it's Rubio, they're going to come out, the media's going to come out day one and say, just when we thought someone couldn't be worse than Trump, this candidate actually is worse than Trump. Because remember, they did that with Ron DeSantis. They told us that Ron DeSantis is actually worse than Trump. So this idea that anti-Trump anger, it's made too much money for the news organizations. You cannot be full of hate for over a decade and just let quit that cold turkey. They're not going to do that. The Trump derangement syndrome is not just going to go away. It's just going to be transferred to another group. I think that's why they're still they're continuing to transfer, and sadly to the Jewish population. That hate just festers and grows like a cancer. But I'll continue. The more the DSA explains radical change, the less credible it becomes. Open borders and closing prisons defy common sense. Free buses and tax the rich will produce little positive change and potentially serious negative consequences, compounded by their incompetent executive management. The short-term danger is November. Democrats would do well. History favors the non-incumbent party in midterms, while the Iran war and gasoline prices will matter. But another force in America's instinct for balanced power. Trump's presidency has been extraordinarily dominant. America's distrust unbridled power and will support Democrats simply to restore a check on the president. I fear that the far left will then claim responsibility for victory, strengthening its movement into 2028 and pressuring moderates to capitulate. Like you did, Cuomo? Like so many others did? That creates an opening for Republicans. Extremists can win blue states, but presidential elections and congressional control are decided in purple states, and America will not elect extremists and socialists. Democrats need an honest discussion after a long look in the mirror. Do we become a fringe party driven by division and anger, or restore our progressive tradition of uniting people and governing effectively to improve people's lives? We have 2 years to decide. That was our former governor, Andrew Cuomo. Okay, gotta take a short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
At William Mattar, they only handle motor vehicle accident cases.
No, we're not going to take any low-ball offers.
There's nothing William loves more than fighting for his clients and giving them the big money they deserve.
Okay. Wow.
But everyone needs an outlet, a chance to get away from it all.
Heads bowed, eyes closed, and now go to your happy place.
Rideshare truck, motorcycle, car, only call William Matar.
Having a safe home is essential to many aspects of our lives. From a sense of community and safety, to physical and mental health, to economic security and independence. Most homes in our communities are not accessible and are not designed to accommodate the changes that come with age, including the risk of falling. The Older Adults Home Modification Program helps reduce the risk of falls, improves safety, and increases accessibility and independence. Through this program, Rebuilding Together works with older adults to provide no-cost preventative home repairs so our neighbors can safely age in place in the homes and communities they love. To learn more, visit rebuildingtogether.org/safeathome.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. Our Friday is a pleasant one, a high near average of 82, some nice sunshine, a relatively light north wind. We'll see a span of 77 to 82 across the area. Overnight lows in mid-50s with generally clear skies, then 81 for our Saturday, ensuring one more day of sunshine before some Sunday shower and thunderstorm potential. We'll see temperatures in the upper 70s at the start of next week.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Coming up in about 5 minutes here. Yeah, about 5. We're going to hear all about India Day. First, a comment from a viewer. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning to you. Enjoy your day and have a restful weekend. Well, thank you very much. I hope you do as well. I hope you have a relaxing and restful weekend. I do appreciate that. Okay. As we talk about the rise of Democratic Socialists of America, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has moved ahead of Gavin Newsom in an early prediction market odds for the 2028 Democrat presidential nomination. As of Wednesday, Ocasio-Cortez had an 18% chance of winning the Democrat nomination on Polymarket, narrowly ahead of Newsom at 17%. Senator John Ossoff ranked third at about 16%. The New York Democrat has drawn increased attention. We know about that. Interesting. Now, we talked about Woke One, which is what AOC said. Oh, all that crazy stuff we said in the past, that's Woke One. We rehashed our message. What she didn't say is we still believe the same thing. We've just reworded it. Well, Maud Marin, and I thought this was a really powerful statement that she said. Woke One was crazy, grinned AOC on Sunday as she sought to brush off a question about ideas she endorsed very recently, like defund the police. She's letting herself and her allies off far too easy. The excesses of the toxic hyper-leftism that metastasized in so many American institutions, academia, media, sports, law, government, education, entertainment, and the corporate world were a form of illiberal authoritarianism that did deep damage to individuals and to the fabric of American society. I know because Woke One came for me, said Maud Marin. My crime? Advocating for meritocracy in New York City's public schools. I was attorney with the Legal Aid Society during Woke One's peak in the summer of 2020. In my off hours, I was also involved in my children's public schools. I'd recently been reelected by fellow parents to sit on the local community education council. In that capacity, I disagree with Mayor Bill de Blasio's efforts to scrap the colorblind SHSAT, the single test used for admissions to NYCD's specialized high schools, based on the claim that the test itself was racist. And I had the audacity to say so publicly. That's when the Black Attorneys of Legal Aid, a caucus of my former union, the Association of Legal Aid Attorneys, chased me out of my job for wrong speak. It's far easier to defend meritocracy in 2026, but in 2020, the era of AOC that now wants us all to laugh about it, it was career-ending. BALA published a statement declaring that a public defender cannot oppose anti-racism and effectively represent black and brown people. The group went on to say, I had no business having a career in public defense, and we're ashamed that she works at the Legal Aid Society. And my employer amplified the message by retweeting it. That post is still up. A real knee slapper, right, Congresswoman? My public shaming served many purposes. The woke one practitioners of this, quote, anti-racism wanted me to lose my job. Check. I was running for city council at the time, and thanks to their accusations, I was constantly asked to answer for my racist education positions. Check. Even more important, they wanted to make sure everyone else at the Legal Aid Society got the message. Years later, a former colleague wrote to tell me he was ashamed of his own silence during that period, but had feared losing his job if he spoke up. Check. We talk so often about that, self-censorship. Woke One was vicious, effective, and widespread, and it didn't just silence public school parents like me who value great education. Academics were fired for merely expressing a verboten viewpoint about climate change. Suggesting that COVID-19 originated in a lab or that natural immunity negated the need for a vaccine was sneered at and cost more than 1,000 New York City workers their job. Reporting that asked whether the surge in youth trans identification might reflect a social contagion made you an immediate outcast in most mainstream media. Questioning land acknowledgments or the pronouns in someone's bio invited professional peril for even the most apolitical. And in a shocking number of cases, totally innocuous behaviors, mispronouncing words, making a misconstrued hand gesture, or singing along to a popular song in a way that offended the wokerati, got people fired, shamed, or rejected from schools. All while AOC and other so-called progressives look the other way. Today, colleges and universities that abandoned the SAT with a bent knee to Woke One are bringing it back because they can now acknowledge the test is an effective mechanism to find and sort prospective students. DEI consultants are looking for different work as the gigs dry up. Detransitioners are filing lawsuits, and professional athletes and sports associations are suddenly remembering and saying out loud that people can't change their sex. AOC wants us to forget and forgive what she calls the crazy of Woke One so she can pursue a political promotion without having to answer for the harm done. The career's ruined, the lives upended, and the deep societal rifts caused by Woke One's merciless demand. Your acquiescence or your silence. I want us never to forget the truth about Woke One. Instead, we must accurately assess it, catalog the damage it did, demand accountability from those who led the charge, and build a society that doesn't cave so quickly when it's time to say something true but displeasing to the powerful. I just thought that was a very powerful message from Maud Marin, who was victim of Woke One. All right, we've got more to talk about, but I'm really excited about this. India Day is Saturday. Tomorrow is a busy day in our area. So we're going to hear from Stika, our friends at Stika. This is a yearly tradition. I've had Stika on every year to talk about India Day, which is on Saturday. So you're going to learn all about it when we return. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Watch news from the Twin Tiers and catch local events on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Away your swimming pool time at Hesselson's for next year. With Hesselson's Easy Layaway Plan, only $500 down guarantees you this year's price and gets you on an early installation date for next year. But hurry in, as next year's list will fill fast. Same great pricing, same great service, same great installation. Come in early so you can enjoy your new swimming pool all summer long. Hesselson's, your locally owned and operated swimming pool store since 1955, will always be there for you today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Give kids time. Just 5 minutes a day. Ask them how they're feeling. And listen.
More cars, lower prices. Simmons Rockwell. Whether you're in the market for new, used, or certified pre-owned, Simmons Rockwell locations across the Twin Tiers have more of what you're looking for with our best price right on the windshield. Make car buying simple when you drive your deal at a Simmons Rockwell location near you, where you'll always find more cars at lower prices.
When a child is fighting a critical illness, one truth touches us all. Every child deserves a childhood. A wish sparks a ripple of hope that transforms communities far and wide. And when we grant wishes together, we create a movement of kindness, strength, and unity. Become a wishmaker today and be part of a journey.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We're broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and in that studio, it's time already to talk about STICA. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where's the summer gone?
I know, right?
Well, you probably say that because you've been planning this the whole time. Well, tell us, for people that aren't familiar, what is India Day?
Okay, so I'll go. India Day is based out of Indian Independence Day. That happens on 15th August, and by chance, it did land on that Indian Independence Day, which is great for us. So yeah, so this is a celebration that has been happening from 2005.
Okay.
So it's 21st year, this year. And it's the biggest event. We have a few events. STICA has a few events. This one is one of the signature events. We have a great footfall here, and we have like Corning Ink, lots of Corning Ink, non-Indian people visiting, seeing it's right on the Centerway Square in Marketplace. So yeah, it's a celebration of culture, music, dance, lots of other fun activities, and of course ends with yummy food.
Of course, it always goes back to the food, so we'll talk about that in a moment. But how's the planning been going? Do you think after 21 years that you got it down pat?
I think it is tough. We always manage to get it right at the end, but till the stage of the whole planning, it takes a lot of effort by all the board members and all the volunteers.
Sure.
And it's nice that the whole community comes together to put up a nice event where everybody is just, working towards a common goal.
How many volunteers do you think it takes to put on something like this?
We definitely have over like 10-ish people. 5 to 6 people who definitely every year, or every event rather, they come and they help out. We try to find more and more volunteers, and people are helpful and willing to come and put up, because it's a lot of tents, putting up chairs and tables here, and a lot of setup that needs to go before the event starts.
When do you think you start planning for each year's event? Is it almost a year-long process?
So we have 3 main events throughout the year.
Okay.
India Day is one of our biggest event because of the footfall. The other 2 are a bit smaller, and it's an indoor event, so it doesn't take that much of a planning, but this one is an outdoor event, and most of the time we've had rains, so we have to.
I didn't want to say anything. I followed your history, and
But it takes about the board members start planning about 2 months before the event, and as it comes closer, we tend to meet more often, and it's more of Zoom meetings, but still it takes a lot of planning.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed this year, maybe it's just my first time noticing it, but I wanted to talk about kind of the pre-festival activities, which is the Colors of India photo contest, and then you had the community cookbook. Tell us a little bit about each of those, if you don't mind.
So the Colors of India photography contest is it's a contest. You can just take a picture. It should capture Indian tricolors, which is orange, white, and green, and should preferably be in the tri-state area.
Sure.
And then upload it and write a little bit about it. How it connects to the picture, and that's it. And then there are people who will, find which one is the best one. There are prizes that will be given away.
And you unveil that during the event, right?
Yeah. It'll we'll have printouts put in the display table so people can come and have a look, and we'll call out the winners and give them gift cards.
Oh, that's very nice.
So yeah, and the other one is a community cookbook. So after moving here, this is something that I have personally realized, that there are lots of traditional cooking recipes that I really like, but I don't get the ingredients here. Like by the ingredients, I mean the veggies.
Oh, sure.
Suppose I don't get it here. So I try to change it. Twist it with the
Adapt.
local ones
Sure.
that are available, which are much fresher. So this community cookbook is just an online platform, a place where you can send in your traditional recipes or the ones with your modern twist, so everybody else can see, preferably make them.
Yeah. I think it just brings the whole community, pepped up for the main event,
Yeah.
because we did something similar for our Spring Fest as well. Like we had a scavenger hunt where every week we were giving clues, and we created a WhatsApp group, and
neat.
there was a new clue every week, and you had to send something according to the clue,
Sure.
and then at the end whoever was the winner, so on the day of the event we announced the winner, and it was just getting everybody hyped up about the whole thing.
I like it. And what I like about this is, and we should note this, anybody can go on to the website that we have on the bottom of the screen, and they can see the cookbook, and that's going to be after the event as well.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
everybody can try. I like that. I think that's a great idea. I can't wait to
And
check
we'll
it out.
keep adding throughout the year, whoever
Oh, okay.
wants to
Yeah.
add, because
Oh,
it's
okay.
an ongoing process.
Well, and speaking of, you got the unveilings, but there's quite a few other things that happen at India Day. One I want to mention are the speakers. You always do a great job of getting the speakers. Who do you have this year?
So we have the Deputy Mayor, Jeff Clark, from the Mayor's office, and we have Colin Cora from the Chamber of Commerce.
course,
And this year we joined the Chamber of Commerce as well.
okay.
Yeah, so we've been to a couple of events where we met other nonprofits and showcase what we have to offer.
Sure.
So that was a good way, and I believe she is helping us with the marketing as well on Market Street, so
that's
that
great.
we have more footfall for the event.
Yeah. And there's going to be face painting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jen
yeah.
will be doing the face painting. She was there last year too, and there
Okay.
was a crazy big line. All the kids were very excited about
Yeah.
it, so we are excited to have her again this time.
And you mentioned the food. We'll talk about that in a second. But the music and dance, who takes part in the music and dance?
So we, any members
Okay.
or their kids, they can, or anybody
Yeah,
can.
you
We
don't
send
have to
out.
be a member
Yeah, you don't
to-
have to be a member. Anybody who is interested can, send like their interests,
Right.
and we have a lineup, a pretty nice lineup this time. It's good variety. Dance music is there. There is a skit which has like all the young kids, like they are practically babies.
Yeah.
Like 3 years up goes till 7 years, I
Okay.
believe. So yeah, anybody who's interested to showcase anything.
What would you say, for each of you, I'll ask both, what is your favorite part of the event? We'll start with you.
Oh, I am the entertainment chair this year.
Yeah.
It's my first time, and I am excited to. I have planned a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm excited for the event lineup.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I just like the fact that everybody comes together, even the local community
Yeah.
people are a part of the event, because I don't see them coming into our indoor events that much, even though they are also open to the
Sure,
public.
of
But
course.
because this is on Market Street, they know people who are just walking by will come in, because we don't charge for watching the event.
Right.
The $25 or the $30 walk-in price is only for the food aspect. So
okay.
anybody could just come and just watch the entertainment.
Oh, so if you purchase tickets, and you can purchase them ahead of time, or you can buy them right at the door,
Yes.
that's for the food.
Yes.
Okay.
That's only for the food. So you
Okay.
can come in and have a good time, just watch the entertainment and what
Yeah.
we have to offer. You don't need to pay anything for that. So,
Okay, now I've
yeah.
got another question for you, for each of you. We get the food ticket. What do you recommend? What's your favorite?
In terms of food,
Yeah.
so when we offer the food, it's like a buffet, so
Yeah.
you'll get everything.
But I'm saying, what should you try first?
You should definitely the garlic naan, and if you eat meat, the butter chicken is a favorite for everyone.
Okay.
And we have, for people who don't eat meat, we have a paneer.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah,
like
that's
a cottage
also
cheese.
one
So
of the
it's like
popular.
equivalent to
Okay. So, this is great.
This time the food is from Namaste,
Yeah,
from
from
Rochester.
Rochester.
Yeah, of course.
We had partnered with the same restaurant before in our Spring Fest,
Yes.
and everybody loved it.
Oh, sure.
Especially their desserts.
Okay.
So yeah.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah,
Try
so
everything.
Don't miss the dessert.
Last time it was our first time with them, and it was a smaller event, and we wanted to continue with the same vendor. So we told them that if you do a good job, we can have you back for India Day.
Yeah.
So they did a really good job at the Spring Fest. So we're looking forward to
Yeah.
the food. Yeah.
So I know something like this, it's not possible to do without sponsors, right?
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about your sponsors. Who's involved that makes India Day possible?
So we have a lot of community help. Honestly, we wouldn't be able to pull it off without them because as you know, it's a non-profit and the amount we charge from members is minimal. It's $30 for the year, and they get tickets at a very subsidized rate, so it doesn't even cover their food expense.
Right.
So we have to thank our sponsors, and Socha is one of our community champion. We have Alsworth Capital, Cheman Canal Trust, WJ Farmer, and the Stuart King's Risk Agency, and Wegman as well. So we couldn't have managed to pull it off without them.
So thank you to all the sponsors. So overall, we're talking about India Day, but how are things going at Stika? I always say it right.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's been tough because it's a volunteer-led organization. We don't get paid for anything, so we have our work and the home to take care of.
Yeah, of course.
So it's all a voluntary-based organization. But we've managed to pull it off, and everybody wants it to do it for the younger generation more because we want to keep them aware of where their roots are, where they come from. And when they see other kids doing the same thing, they feel very proud, and it's a chance for us to show that we are proud to be an Indian as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I feel that this time a lot of new people were there on the board. It depends, if the same people are continuing, then you kind of know how you work with each other. So that's a different kind of a bond that you create. So it's a little bit challenging, I would say, to begin, and then once you get in the groove of things, it flows more easily. And like Vani said, I have a 3-year-old, and I really would want her to know the language culture much more. So this is a great opportunity that I can give her and introduce her to all the fellow other Indians and other people too. So that's great.
How does somebody become a member?
It's very easy. We have our website. I think that so you can just go on the membership link, and it's $30 per person for an annual. It runs from January till December, and that covers you for the main of the 3 signature events, and then you have to just pay $10 for every event because you are a member. So it's
pretty simple.
It's pretty simple, And even if you're not a member, you can come to any of our events, and we always have a walk-in price for anybody.
Okay. Well, we're talking India Day. It is August 15th, Saturday. It's from 4 to 8. Just before we go, if someone's never been to India Day, what do you think they should know before they attend?
I think they should come to have fun. Because we also have a dance floor. It's an open dance floor from 7 to 8 p.m. After the food. So yummy food, lots of energy for the dance floor, and to just watch the Indian showcase culture, art, music, dance.
And the warmth of the society. Just bringing people together.
We are also having a display table. I think we had it last time too. We are having a display table which shows like different kinds of attires, other artifacts, and spice boxes, how it's organized and stuff. So something
just
to
learn a little bit of our culture.
Something for everybody. Everybody come out to India Day tomorrow, Centerway Square from 4 to 8. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. Best of luck tomorrow. And
thank you so
I would also say I hope we can do this again next year, okay?
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. See, this was pretty easy, wasn't it? Yeah.
No.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
Come celebrate the 207th Steuben County Fair from Monday, August 17th through Sunday, August 23rd. Wednesday, August 19th is Broken Bee Rodeo starting at 7 p.m. And there's more. Demolition derbies, monster truck show, games, rides, fun for the whole family. For tickets and information, visit SteubenCountyFair.org. Experience the Steuben County Fair from August 17th through the 23rd.
You can just keep watching and scrolling, and the world will still feel like it's falling apart.
Widespread missile attacks.
Highest hospitalization.
Evacuation in the west.
Or you can take action by joining a movement that's creating real and lasting change instead. Partnering with communities around the globe to help uproot poverty and plant seeds of hope for a brighter tomorrow. Because at World Vision, we believe that no situation is hopeless. Join a movement that's changing the world for good.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. Our Friday is a pleasant one, a high near average of 82, some nice sunshine, a relatively light north wind. We'll see a span of 77 to 82 across the area. Overnight lows in mid-50s with generally clear skies, then 81 for our Saturday, ensuring one more day of sunshine before some Sunday shower and thunderstorm potential. We'll see temperatures in the upper 70s at the start of next week.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hasselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. Lynn writes in, good morning, Frank. Well, good morning, Lynn. Preparing for a weekend vacation, fishing charter on Lake Ontario. We'll have fun, relax, and if you have any luck, send us some pictures. I'd love to show them on the air. That'll be a nice little vacation. Listening as packing. Yes, the DSA is a huge issue here, but it is a problem of our own making. Our far-left education system, our immigration issues, and our just leave me alone and I'll leave you alone attitude has given a foothold to this political movement. Not to mention that the ingrained lifetime politicians. Sadly, I fear for our nation. Power once gained is hard to relinquish, and our politicians have forgotten that was the way our government was supposed to work. Pass the torch. Don't stay until the torch burns out. That's a perfect way of putting it. But I would actually add with the just leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. That's what it started as. But remember, with the left, it became, first it was kind of stay out of our bedroom, and then it was you have to bake us a cake or we'll destroy your life. So that kind of went, that got intense, and that's hence the woke movement that we were talking about earlier. But I agree totally, Lynn, and I hope you have a great vacation. Ro Khanna, remember that name? Ro Khanna, he, when I say remember, the reason is a couple of weeks ago we brought up he faked a story about Israel, I want to say border guards or Israel security trying to arrest him or something. It's really weird. He says he is thinking seriously about running for president. He's a progressive. He's a socialist. Ro Khanna. Yep, that name that everybody keeps talking about. But they had the Amber Phillips put together the sizing up the 2028 Democrat presidential contenders, because we mentioned on Polymarket's AOC's at the top of the list. The standouts, John Ossoff, Wes Moore, Raphael Warnock, and other newish names. Okay. Interesting. You've got Kamala Harris. Of course, we know that. She said she's thinking about running. And recall, she said she's considering running, and she's embraced the socialists because she knows that that's the only way to win the primary. You've got Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro. Here's the problem. I hate to say it. I think Josh Shapiro, if you're a Republican, Josh Shapiro is probably your biggest concern. Having said that, I don't think he'll get past the primary. And I hate to say this, but because he's Jewish. And Van Jones said the Democrat Party has a marbling of anti-Semitism. I don't think it's just a marbling anymore. I think especially with the rise of the Democrat Socialists of America. But enough on that. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, of course. Mark Kelly. That's who was rumored that Barack Obama wanted to run instead of Kamala Harris in that shortened election time frame. And Pete Buttigieg. So those are kind of the leaders of the pack. In the middle of the pack, J.B. Pritzker, okay, Andy Beshear, Jared Polis. No longer on our list is Gretchen Whitmer. This year marks her final term as governor of Michigan, and she's repeatedly indicated she's not interested in running. Any other number of U.S. senators, Senator Cory Booker. I think the only person that wants Cory Booker to run is Cory Booker, maybe his wife. Elise Slotkin, Chris Murphy, Rahm Emanuel is on the list, and Ro Khanna, who I mentioned earlier. Now they said, what about a dark horse, a celebrity or other political figure? United Auto Workers President Sean Fain, ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith. All right, enough on that. Let's get to New York, shall we? Bruce Blakeman, I guess the president came and visited him yesterday. Bruce Blakeman vowed to repeal New York State's bit license regulatory framework. This should be the financial capital of the world, Blakeman said. And without crypto, it's not the financial capital of the world. We've got to rethink how we can nurture this business and how we can have a close relationship between the private sector and the public sector on this important issue. He said prior approaches to Bitcoin and crypto treat it as the enemy and slammed Governor Hochul for not understanding that she should have to work out her concerns with the digital currency. Unfortunately, Kathy Hochul doesn't want to engage in any negotiations or dialogue. It's my way or the highway, and that's how you chase business out of the state. He said he'd be willing to sit down with cryptocurrency businesses to work out something that makes sense. Having a tax on every transaction that takes place is oppressive. It will end economic activity in the crypto space, so that's not something that works for crypto, and it's not going to work for the government. I can't afford it because I'm a lowly public servant. So when it comes down a little bit, maybe I'll get some crypto, he said, but it's definitely something I've been looking at. He also disputed Siena poll that we've been mentioning all week where he was 10 points behind Hochul. He said all the polls we have seen in the last 2 months have us virtually tied with Kathy Hochul. This poll is always off and continues to be off. We know and she knows this race is neck and neck. Blakeman said that Hochul is desperate for people to believe that she is way ahead, and he criticized the governor over taxes, electric bills, and crime. All right, there we go. Yes, I heard the corning whistle as well. Keep those comments coming in. We got a couple other New York State issues to get to. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Layaway your swimming pool time at Hesselson's for next year. With Hesselson's Easy Layaway Plan, only $500 down guarantees you this year's price and gets you on an early installation date for next year. But hurry in as next year's list will fill fast. Same great pricing, same great service, same great installation. Come in early so you can enjoy your new swimming pool all summer long. Hesselson's, your locally owned and operated swimming pool store since 1955, will always be there for you today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Tide isn't just a gentle ebb and flow. It's a mighty force of change. Just like the tide shapes our shorelines, we can shape our planet's future and protect the world's oceans from its biggest threats. Help us turn the tide. Join Oceania's wave of ocean advocates who are making a difference in the world.
With the U.S. Department of State releasing a travel caution worldwide, firefighters responding to a fire alarm on Wednesday found several safety violations.
Free local pantry here in her front lawn and painted post.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Comment from a viewer. Rick writes in, good morning, Frank. Good morning, Rick. Way to go, Pete. Keep your soldiers and sailors out there for way, way too long at war before getting a break. The Lincoln and other light destroyers are long overdue. Do you remember your speeches about endless war and quagmires when you were 19 days into this? Remember saying nothing could be further from the truth back then? You should. Now you're saying the Navy could be over there indefinitely. Trump just can't get enough of trying to get his name on the Kennedy Center. He needs to get his name off there from the first time. Court ordered and hidden by a tarp. Come on, court. Make Donald take his tarp and name down like you told him to. And besides, shouldn't he be using his time for more important things? But things like ballrooms and buildings with his name on it, reflecting pools and the golden arches are way arches. I don't know why I got tongue-tied there. Are way more important than wars, gas prices, and the economy. Self-centered. Harry Enton tidbit. Democrat primary voter turnout sets record. If you're looking forward, you could say, hey, Trump, and then you say quack as in a lame duck. Okay. Hey, I didn't say count your chickens. I would absolutely say that. Count your chickens before they're hatched. New York National Guard spent 831,000. New York National Guard spent 831,000 days guarding New York State prisons in 2025. Coming from, who wrote this? Oh, did it get cut off? Well, the numbers here by the New York State Division of Military and Naval Affairs. They released their 2025 annual report. They oversee the New York Naval Militia and the Volunteer New York Guard. All told, these four branches, the New York National Guard, which one am I missing here? The New York National Guard, the New York Naval Militia, and the Volunteer New York Guard. Anyway, four branches somewhere. I'm missing one. Four branches boasted 21,159 members at the end of 2025. So the troops mobilized after corrections officers concerned about safety and staffing walked off the job back in February of last year. On March 1st, 2025, 7,359 service members covered for civilian staff at 42 of the state's 45 facilities. To keep Army Guard, Air Guard, Naval Militia, and New York Guard working in state detention centers, the state authorized a $2,000 special duty bonus every 2 weeks on top of their regular state active duty pay, and eventually Hochul blacklisted the prison guards who struck. As of December 31st of last year, there were still 2,939 service members on duty in the state prisons. Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. So you signed up for the National Guard and you're serving because of Governor Hochul's disdain for corrections officers serving in prisons. Unbelievable. All right, we got a couple other things, but we got to wrap up. So get your last second comments in because we only have not even 10 minutes left. That is unbelievable. So get your last second comments in, and we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Give kids time. Just 5 minutes a day. Ask them how they're feeling. And listen. Give kids time. Ask them how they're feeling. And listen.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Brandon Weathers. Our Friday is a pleasant one, a high near average of 82, some nice sunshine, a relatively light north wind. We'll see a span of 77 to 82 across the area. Overnight lows in mid-50s with generally clear skies, then 81 for our Saturday, ensuring one more day of sunshine before some Sunday shower and thunderstorm potential. We'll see temperatures in the upper 70s at the start of next week.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam. Brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Comments from viewers. Frank, I hope you have a great weekend. Well, I hope you have a great weekend as well. They said, I plan on enjoying some good Italian cuisine myself in Watkins Glen. That sounds like a beautiful weekend. Have fun and enjoy. Comment from a different viewer. I'm beginning to wonder if viewer Rick cares at all about the United States. Why can he never be positive or at least support the United States? Thank you very much. Mamdani's second house tax has been unpaused after a surprise ruling. The fight isn't over. The appellate court decision only temporarily lifts a restraining order on the tax issued by a lower court on Monday, allowing City Hall to continue with the botched rollout until the full appeals panel considers the case. Associate Justice Philip Hom of the Brooklyn Appellate Division signed the order on Thursday. In opposition papers filed Thursday in the appeal case, former First Deputy Mayor Randy Mastro represented three peeved city homeowners suing the city over the rollout, called the Mamdani administration's attempted end run to keep implementing the tax an astonishing display of arrogance. It's a shame that the city can't own up to its own mistake and admit that it had badly botched the rollout of this surcharge. Instead, the administration is doubling down, going to court to ensure that it can continue harassing and threatening New York City homeowners who clearly are permanent residents, something the city would know if it would do its homework. All right, how am I doing? That's all of our New York issues. There was another thing about the Democrats here. Nancy Pelosi's daughter and Representative Jamie Raskins are going scorched earth on the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is trying to do away with a bizarre style of voting designed to help the underdog candidate and is used in New York City. It's called the ranked choice voting. The Democrat National Committee gathered in Austin to spend the weekend setting up rules for the next rounds of elections, including a presidential primary calendar that could favor Kamala Harris and voting on a proposal to ban ranked choice voting. The controversy comes amid a Democratic identity crisis. The midterm primaries have exposed the divide between the vocal left wing, the socialists, and establishment standard bearers. President Trump and Republicans have taken advantage of the confusion to paint Democrats as led by communists, a critique likely to stay in place through the 2028 election. Ranked choice voting is a complicated system which allows voters to rank candidates in order of preference, first, second, third, and fourth. Raskin, a Democrat from Maryland, said the practice allows the party to be closer contact with voters, a fear he's addressed as he travels this summer. To be in closer contact with voters. Okay. He wrote on social media he's getting questions about whether the party has lost touch with the Democratic grassroots engaged in fights against Trump and MAGA. I try to assure people that our party leaders are working hard to bolster all the sensational action taking place at the state and local level. Advocates say ranked choice voting, used statewide in Maine and Alaska and in large urban areas like Washington and New York City, allow for greater choice. The effort is not only an attack on the right of Democrat state parties to make their own rules and respond to their own constituents, but it also moves us in exactly the wrong direction in promoting electoral democracy, Raskin said. Christine Pelosi, the daughter of the former speaker and one of 452 voting members of the DNC, vowed to vote against the proposed ban. We need radical transparency to restore trust. This ain't it, she wrote. All right, enough on that. Just a little more infighting to show you more, since you won't get that reporting elsewhere, the infighting in the Civil War in the Democrat Party. Well, that does it for today's edition of Frankly Speaking. That is hard to believe. First of all, thank you to our friends from Stika for telling us all about India Day coming up tomorrow. Also, don't forget, because we don't want you to forget, because we had them on the program, last week? Our good friends from Rotary are holding the Summer Feast. So Corning's a happening place this Saturday. Saturday, 1 to 6 p.m. at the skating rink at Corning Civic Center. It's Summer Feast, Pig, Swig, and Boogie Hawaiian Barbecue. Must be 21 years of age. Okay, there's your updates. Comment from a viewer. I wonder what Rush would have made of these so-called socialists. That's a great question. Would have had a field day with some of them. And they would be calling, they would. They'd be calling Piker the Limbaugh of the left. You remember how they tried to do that with everybody? That's a good question. Also, if you missed it this week, we talked with the cast of Young Frankenstein. I hope that's all going well. I realize that we haven't promoted it since we talked with them, but it's coming up. Actually, opening night is tonight, so we are promoting it. 7:30, Saturday, 2 and 7:30, and Sunday at 2. That's the Elmira Little Theater's production of Young Frankenstein, and that's at the Clemens Center. I hope you can. Man, we got a busy weekend, don't we? So if you want to hear or see that interview, you can find it at our YouTube page or WYDCTV.com, and our Tuesday interview with the author of Presidentes, the life of First Lady Julia Tyler. I know I went too fast because I'm out of time. Monday, we're going to learn all about the Steuben County Fair with Nick Pelham, and on Tuesday, we're going to hear about wrestling during the Cold War. Have a great weekend, everyone. I hope it's relaxing. I hope you're safe. I hope you have a great time, and we'll be back Monday at 6 a.m. I look forward to it already.
Ferrari Auto Team!
The best nail salon?
Ask Google!
The best sub shop?
Ask Google!
The best Jeep dealer?
Ask Google!
We did! Google reviews from customers rank Ferrario Jeep in Elmira the highest Jeep dealer in our area.
If you don't see me, I can't save you any money.
Check out the new Jeeps during our Make This the Summer event.
Visit Ferrario Jeep in Elmira or FerrarioElmira.com.